Lack of awareness filled you back here. The best fighters in the world pick up on those things in milliseconds. You're a psycho. It's a bad habit. Yo, what's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be VOD reviewing my viewers in the Ceice Thesis Discord. So I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Let me switch over to the game. The plan is to watch Onay's gameplay, critique him, write notes, just like we've done in the past, and then bring him up, let him talk in the channel, let him unmute, and have him ask some questions and have the people in the Discord get like a live view on it. And so yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, join the Ceice Thesis Discord if you haven't already. It'll be linked below and in the comments, and it's bumping in here. We're gonna be doing these a lot, multiple times a week, multiple times a day, probably, just helping you guys out as much as I can. So let's get into it. So this looks to be, what is this? This is a Cash Cup Finals game. Okay. From Onay. Landing Classic Courts. Let me start from the top here. Just wanted to do some digging so I can understand the gameplay. Jumped out of the bus right away. Okay. I'm gonna point out literally everything that he's doing right, everything he's doing wrong. Okay. Take notes of it if you guys want your own personalized notes. I will probably jot down some notes on my own so you guys can kind of see how I'm note taking. But right off the bat, him jumping out of the bus is great. Like, you're seeing how he has this angle right here. He is looking down and then he corrects it, which is like huge, right? Good stuff from Onay here. So he's looking down, but then he corrects right before he jumps out, and that's the angle you want to be looking out of. Of course, the POI is very far. You can see it's the blue marker. One thing that I like to do is obviously mark the drop, and he's marking the POI here, which he might change, but either way, it doesn't matter. Great start to him jumping out of the bus. Like, that's number one. And yeah, like, a lot of times when you are dropping for spots, I'm not saying Onay is the world's best dropper for classic courts, but like when I was landing Bastion at the tail end of last season, I had obviously landed there the entire year. So like, I could basically blindly drop in and out drop anybody, because that's just how it is when you land there for so long. So I do understand not marking the drop, but obviously I don't think Onay's, like I said, I don't think he's a drop god. So probably should be marking the drop here, at least for some consistency. And then of course, so side note, right? Or a little comment here. Like, Onay in this moment, right? He's got a good drop, like mentally in your head, checklist when you're dropping in. Okay, did I jump out the right time? You guys all know like what it looks like to have like a glider, or like the jump bug where you jump out and your character like doesn't look down right away, or like, he like doesn't move, and then you like, whatever, you bug. So take those mental notes in your head, be like, okay, one, I got the jump bug. Like, you can, if it's duos, you can comment to your teammate. I would definitely recommend calming it. And then things like this, where he's gliding in. So far to this point, he's been perfect. He jumped at the right angle. He's gliding at the right speed, right? Because he's looking up. Of course, I can go in depth on dropping, but, and then right here, he clips it. He goes a little bit too high, and you can see his camera comes back and his character slows down. So in his head, Onay needs to be thinking, oh no, I'm slow. Like, there's a player now that could be advancing in front of me. Like, imagine I'm in the game and we're both going to the same spot. I'm beating him like already right here. And then you can kind of add those seconds, like 1, 2. Oh, okay, I'm 3 seconds behind now, which means, like, you want to add, draw conclusions while you're dropping in, because that will help you plan. It's all about planning in the game. So like, regardless, he's going to be late on his drop here. So if of course he ends up scouting and there's not people contesting him, so, or like, not, there's just one guy right here at the back, but yeah. Also, okay, one more thing to note on the dropping there, because like I said, we're gonna go over everything here. When you do mess up, like, this does give Onay the right, it gives him like the confidence to be like, okay, I've clearly messed up my drop there. That's fine. Now I can scout. Versus, like, if you have a perfect drop, you jump out the same time, you jump out the right angle, you glide the right speed, you hit the marker perfectly, do not look around, because no matter what, you're going to have the best drop. And if you look around, it does slow you down a lot. Like, this is not what you'd want to do if you had a best drop. But of course, like I said, he messed it up. So it gives him the chance to like scout around. And so he does, and he should.
These
so
kids just don't have the drop like me.
The boy is gassing himself up. Okay. And then, yeah, dropping in here, okay? Just like, again, I want you guys to not feel like you have to land classic courts. You can use this knowledge literally anywhere, right? But like, we'll use Class A as an example because it's obviously what we're watching. But when he's gliding in, like, we don't know if he's looking at it, but we would assume that he's looking at the other floor spawns. So the floor spawn that's up here. I think it's probably fine. We'll just do like this and then we'll change it later. So so yeah, mark other floor spawns, right? So like, no, okay, if someone lands on this top balcony right above my head, I'll talk on direction. So northeast of me right now, that little green item, that could be a pistol. What is it? Like, know what it is, right? You can kind of see it now. It's an SMG, but you want to know. And then you use your audio cues, right? This is why it's important in duos, especially, to be like clear and concise when you're landing. Like, it's obviously solo, so he's by himself, but like he's using the cues. He's like, okay, like he can hear if someone lands on that SMG, so he knows that guy's, you know, has that. This guy obviously has nothing, so it's a free kill for him. And he's just kind of chasing, fighting him around. At this point, you definitely want to give it up, because yeah, so you do. That's good. Get your barrels. Side note, not that important, but I'm gonna point out everything because I want you guys to learn the absolute most here. Is you can obviously break these barrels while you're on a right hand peak. Like, that's optimal, right? Like, didn't get you killed, didn't damage you, you didn't lose the game from this. But imagine you see him running out to the south here, just because you're, you know, same thing, same reason why you wouldn't heal like looking down at your wall. You'd heal, you know, peeking over a ramp to like see what the player does. Things like that can change, make it easier for you. But I do like that you're going up there. That's a good habit. Like, when you're fighting, of course, height is everything. So like, he's taking the natural height instead of chasing him out the building. He's taking natural height, which is good. Yeah, that's a free pickup. Good stuff. So I mean, based off the audio cues, you have not heard anything else. If you think you have heard something though, it's the thought process is, okay, kill this guy quick. Okay, boom, caught him, dead. Go up right away. Like, go out right here, this door to the right of his POE right now. Go out to the door, build up, scout the courts. Like, realistically, if it's your last game and you know you can earn, and you know, like, you know what I'm saying, you're playing super safe, you're gonna do that because it's only gonna waste 5 builds, 2 builds, 3 builds, nothing, like 1 build. And maybe you see a guy put a ramp up, or maybe you see him break a tree over there, and like, you never know if someone lands late. Like, they could have dove, like, you know, all the way north of you right now and then came in or ran in after you like fought off spawn. So, but I would scout, always scout, especially in solos. But not, again, doesn't, you'll hear me say this a lot. It didn't get him killed, right? It's the small things though that are going to set you apart, that will build that consistency, and will change your tournaments. Yeah. So right away, farming up. I do like that you are farming back here. Is that an EMP that's being thrown? Yeah, okay, so there's another player. So, I mean, case in point right there, right? Like, he should have built up. He didn't know until this guy threw it. At least I'm watching this, right? I don't think he knew until this guy's throwing the EMP. But it is really good also that he's farming the wood back there, not like, you know, pushing up. Like, he's getting mats before he risks going across the rest of the POI, because, you know, again, there's a guy here, he didn't know this, but there could always be anybody. And I think this is a fairly smart move to poke around and see what you can see. You never know if this guy's like aware, or, you know, maybe you catch him off guard. So I don't think this is a waste of time. What I would do though, just as a, you know, side note here, you see some visuals to your right, just peek to your right, just a second, like you're seeing right here, right? Boom, you see that? You never know. You never know. That guy could have a AR and he's shooting at somebody that's running like south of the mountains there, like in the lake, if you look at the mini map. And then that guy could also have a sniper, and then you're his next hit, and he, you know, hits you in the body and you lose your thing. Just take a gander, see what you see. Not a big deal, but right? Didn't get him killed, but it's the small things. Okay. So yeah, obviously he's just kind of doing his thing here. Same thing with your left, like, just quickly check your left. Like, especially now you see gunshots. Don't act like it didn't happen. You know there's someone to your left. I know you know there's someone to your left. Just check. Like, okay, great, you do. But like, you know, a little faster could save a life. Could save your game. He's disengaging, okay. So now you know he's leaving, and these guys are fighting fairly close to you. It's like I would switch your focus kind of to like at least to like check again the guys behind you, right? Because now now it's giving you the option to pick the fight, right? Like at the vending machine, he was right on top of you. You know, he was there, versus the guy at the building was fighting, and now he's disengaging. So now you're like, okay, you're kind of in between. The distance is actually kind of the same between that guy running away and the fight behind you. So maybe, you know, maybe if you turn around for 2 seconds, you see the guy die and they also crack each other, or you see them trade. That could happen too, and you just go get the free loot. But you definitely want to be aware of everything around you. So not a big deal, but a little bit of lack of awareness for just looking. I know you know they're there. Also, I'm sure we've experienced this, but just knowing that, like, if you lurk on somebody, you could actually make them upset and they could fight you. Like, some people just don't care. Genuinely, they just do not care. So, like, be conscious that, like, hey, if I'm trying to kill this guy, he's gonna find out. If he finds out I'm trying to kill him, he's gonna, you know, maybe want some damage back, and that's just always not fun. So, same thing with, like, you know they're fighting behind you, or you know there was like this. Okay, now it's getting to the point where this is a little bit of uncomfortable awareness, where like you got to build your back here. You know there's people back there. You don't know what they're doing next, but yeah, it's okay. Like, again, didn't get you killed. It probably won't ever get you killed, but it's the small things that the really top players, the good players, will take advantage of. But I mean, so far Onay's loadout, right, it's pretty solid. AR, pump. It's not great, but he gets his cash. He's max metal. Definitely, like, it works. He's okay. Like, he can play these games out like this. Also, the way that I view these cash up games, because you can't really play 3 games out. Like, if you get a really fast queue, or you like wipe the first game one, or you're basically Peterbot, then maybe you could play all 3 games out and win all 3. That might still not even be possible. But like, look at these games in the sense of, like, okay, I have this loot. I kind of have to get to this level of loot. Like, it's an imaginary level, right? Like, you know, whatever you think you're comfortable with, the purple guns, gold guns. And like this game, right? He's scuffed. We all could probably agree he's pretty scuffed. He's not stacked. That's definitely not true. He's not stacked. Or that's definitely is true. Sorry. He's not stacked. So this game might not be a 25-minute game where he wins the game based off of what we're looking at now. It could be a 23-minute game. So take it as what it is and be like, okay, I might need that refresh later on, and 2, this means I can play all 3 games out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the game doesn't go max time, you could play all 3 games out, 100%. I've played all 3 games out by just, like, you know, you die first moving, die first moving, die first moving, and of course it sucks because you just played basically the entire game to die right before the end game. But you know, it does mean you get the chance to get that potential refresh that will get you, like, the gold guns, the medallions, the, you know, whatever, the items to win the game. Because that is ultimately, you know, the med kits, the 6 med kits, the, what, you know, all of that, the floppers. Like, that's how you're going to win these cups. So I wouldn't look at each game like this has to be a win guaranteed, because you never know. Heal off is kind of random. I'm going to skip a little bit here because it's kind of just probably you looting here, from what I'm guessing. But yeah, objective wise, like, you're playing pretty well. I mean, if you guys know the map a little bit, right, he kind of just went straight to zone, like, nothing crazy right there. He just uses mobility. It's a 60-player game, and he's kind of just playing kind of defensively. Like, looks like he's trying to get center zone for his cash, which is exactly what he should do and play. Now he's getting fought. Little laggy here. Okay, again, I know I've talked about this, and I don't want to be a repeating record for those that have watched my recent videos, but I'm going to act like none of you guys know what a snail is. And I'll show this as an example as well, so everyone can get, like, you know, a live example again, or another example. But this would be a great time to whip out the snail. Like, you know, you're here. This is a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of nuts. Like, all these edits opening, you're doing a little too much. You need to play more reactive here in a situation where this guy's trying to fight you. Like feel out the situation instead of just going to a full-on fight. Because this guy might just, if you make a snail right away, he might just disengage, and then you wasted no shield and, like, hardly any builds. You know, especially since it's wood and it's so early, you can get it back. But here, okay, regardless, let's just put all that behind us. Now you're in the situation where you're 35 HP, and he's on the wall here. Like, I don't know if you don't trust your ping, but he's obviously not trying to grab your wall. Like, it's not like he's historically grabbed your wall. So you can start assigning like characteristics and traits to the player. That's fighting IQ in the nutshell, right? Like, that is why Peterbot is so good, because he can watch somebody fight in 2 seconds. He can pick up on, okay, this guy's a controller player. This guy's gonna jump in my box. This guy insta edits. This guy holds his wall. This guy plays defensive. This guy, like the best fighters in the world pick up on those things in milliseconds. And that's why they're able to pre-fire you and predict you and like all of that, and take advantage of you in certain situations. So this guy example is, you can 2 seconds, right, or a millisecond, you can say, okay, he's spraying, he's not grabbing my wall, or historically he hasn't even successfully taken my wall. And I know you're not lowest ping, you're not 0, but it says you're 17, so I would say it's not horrible ping, but still, like, try to hold the wall here, because that would give you that extra layer instead of, you just kind of wasted that box like entirely. And then again, like, hold your wall here, like, make your safe space, right? Like, I know you're scared, 30 HP, like, you have a metal wall here, which is gonna, obviously it's gonna take a little longer for him to break. Put a floor below you, flip this stair, okay? Kind of like what you do, kind of, sorta. But like, you're here, okay? He has to spray in your box, you box yourself, so just relax, reset, and go back to the basics. A snail. Go back to like box fight, healing up. You have the med kits, like, the way the healing works now is you don't have to, like, you're good. You can basically get back to full by popping it slowly, like 10 HP at a time. You'll get back up there, but take it slow. I think reversing the stair, putting a floor below you, and like, getting ready to hold the wall while there's a layer in between you that's comfortable. An uncomfortable example would be like right now, like the stair is facing. So if this guy phases in, the only thing between him and him is the stair. But a comfortable way would be a flip stair, right, where you can like be underneath it, and then he has like those 2 better layers where he has more control. So okay, cool. But you guys get that. So just be more, go back to your basics, reset, right? And now you're seeing the mat usage and the waste. And now you're seeing the uneven amount of box space that he's creating. It's not there. Here's like a comfortable space, right? And obviously you see how smooth that was for him. But great, like, nice, well done. I mean, that guy is a psycho, I won't lie. But here is your potential chance at your game-winning loot, right? I'll put that in like quotations. You have your drum, you have your thing, like, you're chilling. But yeah, I'll explain it in a sec. If you guys know it, then great. That's awesome. But the snail would have saved you a lot of time there and made it probably faster, or he would have disengaged, but it worked out. Looks like you're getting keyed again. Okay, so now snail, right? Instant thought. Snail before you heal, right? Look how easy the snail is here. I'm trying to give you guys the most visualized example. The snail is literally already built for you. You just have to put a couple walls to the right, couple walls to the left, right? A floor on both sides, okay? And walls. You guys can see this, right? It's clearly almost a 2x2. You almost have it. And you have the brick available to make it like a hard box, right? So you would obviously want to switch to brick before you did it, because you only have 2 metal builds. So if you just built that, then obviously you would auto go to wood. So it's those like little details that will change a lot. But your goal again is to get this guy to just leave you alone. Like, I can tell you don't want to fight this. Obviously you disengaged. He does leave you alone, or kinda looks like it. Never mind. Now your wall's weak. You're ready for him to try to make a play. He goes for it. Quick opportunity to box. Aim is on point. Love to see it. You're getting bailed out by your aim, which is awesome. And these players are just making like the word, like, that guy needs to play a peak control map. Like, that guy's peak is just not it. That was the easiest wide shot of all time. And now you're gonna go for your cash, looks like. Yep, so you're on your cash. We all know what this is. Like, we don't need to watch this. He's just sitting on his cash, waiting for zone. There's a medallion player next to him, and he's going. He gets his cash. He's out. Missing 100 brick, but you're fine. You're rotating early. 43 up. This is all the cash up games. This is like that point. If you make it to this point every single game, your chances of earning go up a lot. Like, you're out of the zombie mode where like everyone's just trying to get in your box. Like, now these 43 players, I would safely assume, unless Peterbot's in this game, that like they're all playing for the win. Like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think there's probably a best case scenario where you go a little faster than that, because obviously we saw there was a little delay, which is like looking at it. But being ready, which I talked about this in my last video or maybe the one before that, where like the guy was talking with in a Discord call with 10 people. Like, I encourage it. It's okay. Have fun on the game, right? That's the, like, solos can be very frustrating if you're just like taking it dead serious, but mute up 10 seconds before the zone shows so you can be like instantly ready. You're good to go in more intense scenarios. Again, I'll say it again. He didn't die to it, didn't damage him, didn't ruin his game, but in the future it could.
Like, I have 80.
But he goes insta, which is the play, right? Just center, 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 center. Like, that's just the mindset. Center, 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 center. I will say that on certain zones, certain situations, like, I guess I don't want to drill the thought of like you have to be center zone. I want all of you guys to be center zone to win your games. Like, does not have to be like that. This obviously is an example of where there's nobody in front of him. He has these old wood builds, you know, right at the top of the screen here. Like, he knows this area is pretty chill. You can see this area is pretty chill. But if there's people in front of you, don't feel like you have to force it.
What am I supposed to do with
But you might as well if you can. And he does. So this is good. He's getting his brick back up, which is good. Maxing your mats. I'm always a strong believer in cones. So like, you know, there's a tree here or there's extra brick that you farmed, or at the very least, like, let's say you have 500 or 490 brick and you need 10 brick, but there's a big rock next to you. Just drop 50 in your base so you have extra 50, or, you know, put these cones down so you have cones, because you're gonna end up probably putting the cones on. Yeah, I mean, you put wood stairs, so like you could have just, you know, the small things, right? This 10 builds could help, 20 builds could help. I guess one build, not 20, but it's fine. You're chilling. You're in a good zone here. You got a couple medallion people on you. I know I talked about this in a previous video. So, like, not saying that this is 100% a proven fact, but you could assume a lot of the times, right? Like, if you got zone and these medallion players got zone, and the medallion players likely probably got the forecast towers and all these other things, right? Like, they probably have zone reveal, probably have forecast. I would, you know, add that to your like your game plan for the game. Like, okay, all right, so I got zone. These other two medallions, you know, that are on me also got zone. All right, let's see what happens next zone. You know, keep theorizing. And same thing with like zones, like any zone, right? Theorize as much as you can. It's not going to hurt you. Like, you could even say like, okay, there's water in this zone. Is it going to pull north or south here? What's more common? And then like, I mean, we all know, or I think we all know, remember, like the caddy zones. There was FNCS where it pulled like 12 out of 12 caddy zones, or like with the Queasy and the Invitational where he got like 11 out or 10 out of 12 zones in the finals, or like north zones. Like, you can start to theorize those things, and pro players, top players, and coaches are doing that. I think even last chapter near Kinjitsu, there was like a part of the water down there that would never pull zone. So people were like, never, you know, you would see that and go, okay, it's gonna go south here, has to go south, and it did. So you can theorize things like this on your own. You don't have to wait for a pro to explain it to you or to find it for you. And I think staying here is fine, by the way. Like, no need to rush this at all. You're vibing. Of course, like I said, center, but if, you know, there's people that can't go center anymore, so it's fine. He's just sitting in a box. We're gonna skip it. Okay, so now we'll go back to the theory of these guys might have forecast. You could safely assume these two guys do not have forecast. Like, no shot, nothing. But if you open the map and you see this other guy has forecast needs in zone, then you could probably assume, okay, you start there. That guy might have forecast, and that might be a chance of you getting a really good position in the future zones. Here, you know, there's a guy in there. I think, or yeah, there's a guy in there. I would have stopped just for a little bit. You don't want to be getting pumped in the back. Kind of psycho to send it. And there's a guy in here. You need to stop. Okay, triple way your cone. We're gonna build these habits up. But I mean, end of the day, you're dead side rotating. This is great. Like, I would say you've used 240 wood. You see this tree to your left. You see you have a good time on zone. You see the zone expands to your right. Switch your brain. Where can I get wood? Or where can I get brick? Let me use brick for my next base. Like, this tree right here is looking tasty. It's looking nice. Like, right now, it's looking, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? No one's getting that tree. It's looking good to me. And then even brick, like, you know, this whole POI is brick. Or I know this POI is brick. Like, you can probably look at the buildings and be like, this isn't, obviously it's not wood and metal. So switch to brick here, right? You're not going to get this wood back. you're gonna get this brick back though, even a little bit of it. So of course you switch to brick, but it's only to base safely, which is the play here. I would also, just as a side note, like when you're building a base like this, because it's like funky with this wall here, you're not sure if you can build a wall there. So you did the right play. This is smart. If you really want, triple away your cone for extra safety. But after this is built, I would go down and put walls below you, because some crazy psycho controller player in this game who needs it could just spray into your box. We all know what it's like to spray like up into a floor. You know what I'm saying? We all know how easy that is. So imagine, you know, you're playing around, you're editing your cone in your floor, and the guy sees it, he's in. Like, I've had that happen a couple times, and it's been a mistake that will never happen again. So that's why I'm pointing it out now. But cool. So you're vibing. You're just gonna sit. You're in your cone. Let's see what happens here. This guy try to fight you or what? Why do you run away? Oh, you get chopped. All right, there's case in point. Connect better. Like, build that bottom better. Guarantee you don't get chopped out. And this wall is already claimed. And you probably could have got refarm, right? There's benefits to farming this wall. I would ramp your back as well. Like, just build. Just build. Ramp your back. I honestly, like, everyone's a little different. Like, we all kind of react to those situations differently. Like, some of us are probably like, oh, it's no big deal. You know, I'll just build a box. Some of us are like, oh my God, I'm about to die. I'm going to run all the way over here to this reboot van and build. But you could realistically stop on this wall right here, put a stair like to your right, and use this wall as like a, you know, spot number one, like cover, build one that you know, it's already high HP. But either way, like if you built safer, we just saw it happen. It would have been chill. And now you can look at your mats that you haven't even gone an in-game with, and you have 200, 205, right? It's not ideal. I think the mindset so far, like the mindset needs to be focused on a little bit more refarm when you can. Like that tree we talked about could have been hit, could have been 20 wood, 50 wood, could have been 1 HP. We don't even know. But also, like, you could have gone a bit more into the POI for refarm. You didn't have to go straight kind of where you are. Like, you could have gone more right with the zone as it expanded. And I know these buildings aren't great. Like, I'm like 99% sure these buildings aren't going to give you max brick on a wall, but like, you know, a little bit here and there can help you. And I'm sure that's what some players are doing in the zone. So might as well be you. Anyways, the benefit to what happened, okay, is you got ahead of the pack, which I don't know if I need to explain that, but like essentially you got ahead of everyone on the edge. Like, you weren't on the edge, and that's a smart thing to always do in like duos and in very stacked lobbies. Is like, you'll see these top pros, you'll see the top pros, they'll be the edge of zone, right? We all understand what the edge of zone here is in this zone, and they'll be just 10 meters ahead of everybody else on the edge, like just that little bit, so they can go early when this zone pops and pulls max. That's basically what happened to you. You ended up just putting yourself in a really good spot. Of course, your mat burn was a little annoying, but here's your shot to farm some wood back. I like it. I would be very cautious of snipers, even though I know we just skipped to that frame, but just definitely you got to worry about snipers here. You never know. And this guy in your back, I would just definitely build your back here. Definitely build your back. You're a psycho. You're actually insane. Like, build your back and snipers, like, it's over for you. You're not killing this guy. You know, everyone in here will agree, and you know in this moment, you're not killing this guy. There's no way, no shot you're killing this guy. But this guy right here at the top left, you can't see my cursor, but that guy could have a sniper, and that guy can kill you. And the guy in zone here. There's two guys over here to your bottom right. You see one right now, but like on the blue marker on the right side of the screen. Now you're going. Great. You're picking a side of zone, which is good to see. Like, instead of, you know, you had the option to go center there and you didn't, which I like to see. It's great. So that's a big reason for why you can be successful. See the tree? I would, you know, I'm saying I'd go farm it. Okay, nice. Put a floor, please. All right. I would just finish this box. Like, just, you've already built everything else. Just put a cone and just finish the box. Like, use it. You know, don't let it. Or at the very least, if you want to farm that tree safer, just put a stair and reverse it and try to get it like that. I'm just picky like that, though. I'm just always trying to optimize as much as I can. But you're in a good spot here. Let's just, I mean, you're good. Your mats are mid, very mid. You need a kill here. You know you need a kill. And you just gotta find the right one. Zone goes across the river here, okay? Right away, like without even seeing the actual zone, right? Just looking at this. A river is a valley. A river is never, there's never gonna be a river on top of a hill. Like, okay, maybe that's wrong. I'm sure there's a scenario where there's a river on top of a hill, but I'm saying like, it's historically going down and then going back up, right? That's where rivers are. So you know this goes up. And like, of course, you can even just look at the terrain here and see. So there's multiple triggers and points that you can look at and be like, okay, one, the map is, I'm literally looking at the zone. It's going up. Okay, that's one. Two, there's gray on the map. I'm seeing there's mountains. You know, I understand this terrain, this part of the map. It's a hill zone. And three, there's a river. So those three things you can instantly know you have to be elevated. And then of course, you know, you're looking at this now, you're marking it. It's good. And then also you mark the right side of zone, which I don't know if you guys caught that, but I don't know if that's an accident or on purpose, but still picking a side and at least consciously thinking, okay, I need to be on the right, not just marking the zone, not marking the dead center of the zone, you know, trying to pick a side. And he's already, like I mentioned, he's already on the right side of zone, not all the way to the right, but fairly right. So, you know, you can tell Onay is setting himself up to play on the right side of zone, which is very important. That is very, very important. And now, so he's got himself set up for the end game. He's reviewed the zone. He knows it goes up the hill. He knows, you know, there's trees and rocks in the way or whatever. There's builds in the way. He's reviewed the zone. Okay. Now he can switch his mind to the fragger. Like, I got to get a kill. I got to get this refresh. I got to get max mats and a medallion or whatever. Right. It's things like that can set you up for really, really good success, because you can, like I said, you can kind of flip that switch. And especially in the solos, right? You're the IGL and the fragger. He just IGL'd himself, you know, set up a plan of what he wants to do, kind of gave him a visual. Now he could be a fragger. I'm loving what I'm seeing though. This is great. A nervous little breath. Here we go. Going out the top. Definitely, I like that. Maybe a chance for a kill back here, but obviously it doesn't matter, so it's unfortunate, but you're going. And you're getting nice and elevated. Trip away your cone for safety. And also know that you're only up by like one wall, right? So we'll watch that back, but you're only up by, I mean, maybe one or two walls. You're probably gonna get connected, but like be aware that like, okay, maybe I just stick a cone out and put it down, connect a little bit more. But you're still playing aside. Of course, it is dead. 20, I mean, not dead, but you guys don't get what I'm saying. It's 29 up. It's not a 40 player moving or 30, 38 or whatever. So, like, his right side of zone is pretty solid here. Yeah. Okay, not exactly a negative here, but like ideally, right? Let's imagine this is duos, because we can take this game and learn a lot from it for every game mode. Like, hold the side of zone. So like, yes, he's holding the guys in the middle, but realistically, if he wants to play this perfectly, let's say he has 5-5-5, he needs to be holding the guys to his left right now. And that way, nobody goes left. He gets ahead of the left side, or, you know, on this, obviously he's on the right side, sorry. On this perspective, they're to his left, right? So he holds the guys to his left, and then he has a clean right side rotate. Because, you know, that doesn't really do anything for him. It gets him a kill, that doesn't mean much. And now there's a guy here that, you know, this guy he could have held, or this guy that's grappling to the right, to, you know, below him, that he could have held. You know, there's two more players right there that he could have held. And then mentally, no. All right, I just cut kind of center. Like, you can see the marker and you see where you are. You are basically like in a very not favorable spot. Like, it's not a bad spot because you're alive and you're well, but definitely not like the number one spot you'd want to be in. So, but it is still really early. It's not like a later zone. This is probably the only time that you'd want to be, like, you know, in this type of spot if you had to be. And of course, you know, there's many reasons, but it's solos and you have mobility and mats, and like, it's not the world's biggest deal. But I want you guys to all think in the right mindset of like, okay, I need to be on the right side, or pick a side of zone and try to stick to it. And it'll, you know, you'll realize those habits are setting in when you're actually doing them consistently. Another thing that I think is maybe kicking in a little bit too early here is his fragger mindset, which I think we all can fall to this, but like he hasn't planned at all for the next zone. Like we saw him plan for the first zone. Okay, we saw him look at the map, mark where he wanted to go, but he has no idea where it could go. He's not ready for it to go. You know, he's not on his wall here, ready for it to go. Like I suppose maybe he's ready to go southwest, but obviously he's fighting this guy. But right, the zone could pull up a hill here. It could pull north, could pull east. It could pull down back into the river. Like that's a big deal. You need to be ready to go, and you are on the edge of zone here. Like you're about to be in 2 seconds. You can see the zone. You're there. So if zone pulls far distance north, you're gonna have to go up this hill and through everybody. And if you're not ready for it, you're gonna die. So let's hope. Okay, pulls south here, so he gets a little bit of a bail, right? Because it's easier to go down a hill and through nobody, because obviously no one's back here. So he ends up going. Probably should build a bit more there, like just at least a floor above you and maybe a stair here. But it works. Okay, you get through it. Just relax, break through the builds, relax. And drop. Like definitely go down here. Just keep playing the lower layer here. You know you need a refresh, right? Like your mobility and the ways of you, like the game plan of you grappling and then landing and grappling and landing is kind of out the door when you have only 270 metal. Like you need to kill here. Low ground's going to be the spot to get it. I think this is a great play to pop the med kit, get back to that full health so you can get that kill, right? And commit to it. Like this is like the same thing that you would do in duos. Like commit to a play. Like if you want to play heal off and you don't want to go for a fight, then don't go for the fight, but pick one, right? So it looks like he's committing to the option of fighting. He knows he needs to do it, and he's healing up and getting ready to do it. Obviously, yeah, you're seeing another benefit of him being on the right side of zone, so he is still playing a side of zone. I'm not really sure how this is so dead on this right side, but it works either way. Mobility is obviously busted. Onay, you need to start putting some stairs on you, like just right there. Like you go up here, just put a stair, like right here, right on that wood, just a stair, or right here. Sorry, just put a stair. Like you don't know. I'm so paranoid that someone's gonna land on me behind me, or the height guy is gonna see me and fry me, and then that just like delays you. You never know. Like the waste. Like imagine the guy fries you, this guy gets your cone. Now he's fighting you, and you're getting pinched. It's like protect yourself a bit more. Stare right there. Just block yourself, please. Or here, like you have the mats. Like I know you're getting in, but like, you know, a stair isn't gonna change that much. Like, if anything, it's gonna help you get in the box, guaranteed. But this is good. Like you took the fight. That was a good fight. Like I don't think there's like nothing I can say wrong about that. You needed the kill. You got it, and you did it with mats to spare. Like it's not like you went to fight with somebody with 0 builds. Like if that guy ended up trying to fight you back, you could have built out and made a box. Like it is the time to go for refresh. Everything about this has been great for getting that kill. So now it goes down the hill here, okay? And you can tell obviously because it goes into the river, right? We talked about like obviously the rivers are gonna be low. So you know low ground's gonna be pretty free here. Of course it's the water, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna be free. Siphon mats here, 50-50-50. This guy's no mats. That's a free. Yeah, go right for it. You find opportunity on low ground. Like, all right. This is all right. Onay, if you're taking anything from this, please start being like build awareness. Like you just look at these things and be like, okay, I'm not building enough when I'm down on low ground. Like this is sketch. This is so sketch. You drop down to low ground and you know this guy's to your right now, right? So you go down, okay? You know this guy's right to your right now. Like there's somebody, or at least up one and to your right. Like there's players. Like build right here. Okay, fine, cool, run. But then start connect to the stair and start building. Like I'm waiting for you to do it and then you never do it. And like it doesn't kill. It like doesn't get you damage, but it's so bad. Like it's a bad habit. Yeah, and then I mean, I think like looking at that death and then looking at like the way you've played when you're under like high pressure situations, which I'd like to call this a scenario where it's high pressure, where you're dropping on low ground, you know, you need to refresh, like, you know, the guy's weak, you see people getting damaged. That's high pressure, right? And then here, you know, we'll go back a bit. Here's another scenario where it's high pressure, where you're fighting for a refresh and you don't decide to build. Here's another scenario where it's high pressure, you know, you're going up a hill, you hear a lot of audio and you don't really protect yourself, right? Like these moments where you're high pressure, like realize that you feel like that and try to build more. Like that's as simple as it is. There's no drink I can give you or food you can eat that's going to make you do better in high pressure. It's just going to be the more you play these, the less high pressure they get. Like I think that everyone would agree that this scenario for me is not high pressure as it is for you or maybe other people in this call. Like it's not that deep. It's, you know, it's solo cash cup in game with 19 players. Like I've been in 40 player moving zones. Like, you know, we all have. So yeah, everyone treats it a little differently. Like, but just know that you need to build more. Like that will help you be less stressed out in these situations because you have a little bit more time to breathe rather than like kind of rushing in here. And it just, everything feels so rushed and like clunky. And I think that like, honestly, dude, I think that this example, this game here was one of the luckier games where like you were in high pressure situations and you ended up getting bailed out or like you didn't get shot. Like I didn't really see you get hit from like height or pumped on the rotate, you know? Like I think we all viewed a situation where it kind of worked out for you. Like you were in high pressure situations and you didn't get punished for it. But I can imagine there's been a ton of scenarios where like you didn't block your back and you died and you were in a high pressure situation and you didn't do what we're talking about now and you died. And then here, yeah, you definitely could have taken it slower. Like I think everyone, obviously, you know that. Like, okay, cool. So we watched that game. Let's have a chat about some questions that you guys might have over the game, or you know, maybe you guys have some questions that you want answered that aren't about the game. I would prefer if it's about the game. That way we can help Onay. Kind of everyone can lock in the ideas of what we just watched. Start recording, get your friends to record, get your videos uploaded, get gameplay like this, like a perspective instead of replays is, I think we can all agree is way, way, way better than, yeah, watching replays. Like we're doing it right now. So this is good. I think ultimately what hurt him the most was not going into in-game with a lot of mats. Cause he lost a lot of mats in the reels situation where he was, you know, he's like 150 each going into like the half and half there. So he definitely could have been a bit more. How do I third-party fights without getting jumped by one of the players who was already fighting? It's a common issue for me as I often get 7 kills and usually win most of my ones, but my third party when I die 80% of the time. Oh yeah, let me show you guys what I mean by the snail technique and the triple weight cone, just in case you guys didn't know what it is. Let me switch to gameplay here. You guys can see my game, right? We'll just go into a build fight map. Let's go. Okay, so we'll show the snail technique, just in case you guys haven't seen it before or ever heard me talk about it. So literally, right, we'll go back to Onay in the situations where he was fighting and the guys were keying him randomly. A snail is super simple. It's your basic 1x1. It starts like this, right? Okay. Also, keep in mind my mechs are definitely not fully teed right now, but the snail is this. Like, it's just a 2x2. And you have some walls in between, not these walls, but like, you know, peanut butter peaks, right? Good, safe peaks. You don't have to have them all edited. You can have it like, oh my God, you can have it like this, right? But the snail is a 2x2. And then it doesn't matter the direction you're going. You just go backwards, right? Like first time is you always go backwards. It could be here and you go backwards. You could be in this box, like backwards. You could be, right? Doesn't matter. Okay. We'll use this box now. You just go backwards and you connect two. And you can see how easy this is to just be on this tile and make two, right? You can see this is a very simple mechanic to do. And then you're doing it again. You're box fighting. Now you have another 2x2, right? Imagine we close this off. You also have this space. So like, you know, this guy's, let's say he's chasing you down this part of the build. You can come all the way here, pump him, come here, pump him, and he's dead, like 100%. Let's say, you know, you're in a 1v2 and you're still getting pressured. Then you go backwards again, right? Connecting it again. So now it's another 2x2. You see, it's connected again. And then like if you go backwards again, it's not going to be like it's too much space. So just go up. Like, of course, I'm not putting cones here, but you need to have walls and cones and all of this. And now you have this entire thing, and this is the snail complete. There's no more than this. This is the snail. So we'll build it kind of quick, but as you can see, like if you build one box and you stand kind of on this tile here, you can kind of just reach all the boxes pretty easy, right? You see how simple that was? And then Same thing with like building more space here. You're kind of just reaching all of it by building it, like kind of chilling, like literally like moving like this. That's all it is, just slightly moving around. Instead of having to do, like I've seen people build like this. Like you don't want to do this. This is not the snail. Like that is how you get predicted. And the player, you know, he's up here and he goes like this, and then oh, now you're dead. Like, so that's not how you do it. You just want to build it from that same box like this, right? So that's the snail. And then you'll hear me talk about trip away the cone. It's literally just boxing and trip away in the cone. So like, you know, you're rotating, you're going, you know, Onay's now in the future is going to do this, block his back a bit more. Okay, he's going, and then he's going to land, trip away his cone, box up, trip away his cone. He's going to go up here, right? Rotate, and you're going to trip away your cone. And you're going to heal. Always heal in a triple away cone. Always play safe in a triple away cone. You know, let your walls build a triple away cone. Like this is what you do. Okay. And you can go in your cone here, right? You can flip it. The direction is you put it towards the crowd. So like, let's say everyone's coming from this direction. You know, you're the first one in zone. Everyone's coming in. You're 1 HP. You're healing up. You're triple away in your cone towards everybody. And then let's say everyone's ahead of you now. You just flip it. And now you're good. And then you go. So those are the two things I wanted to show you from Onay's VOD review. But let's answer some more questions. How do you make a drop map? So a drop map is pretty simple. It's going to be, you can buy one, obviously. They're like 10 bucks, 20 bucks. I don't know, like $5. I'm sure you can find somebody to make a map, but you would to make a drop map is you just find the building you want to go to and just drop there and find the spot and then move it up. Drop there and find the spot, move it up. Like that used to be the way that I used to make drop maps 2 years ago. Is I would just, oh my God, I would just go on my own. I would mark the building I want to land at, and I would just mark the building I want to land at. Okay, let's say it's this part of the building right here, and you just slowly jump out of the bus and say, oh, you know, this looks like it'd be a good marker, and you just drop in. Oh, you know, I was actually a little short. Okay, next game I go, I'm gonna drop in and hit this marker. Oh, I was actually a little short. Like that's how these guys are making drop maps for you, unless they have that like the dropping calculator. And then you just slowly, oh, this one, oh, it was perfect. That was great drop. And then, you know, let's say you're in a tournament and you're going against Booga and he lands here, and you go for this marker that you think is perfect, and Booga hits this marker. Okay, let's change the color so we can all understand. Okay, this is dark blue. Okay, let's say Booga hits this marker and he outdrops you. You go in this, you find that in replay, you find his exact marker, and you move your marker to this marker, and now you have a good drop for this spot. And then what I like to do is when I'm adjusting my drop map, because I think the best way to have a best drop in Fortnite, like the dropping calculator is good. It's very good, but at the end of the day, the most important aspect that separates drops is because there's dropping calculator, because there's really good droppers, is going to be the time you jump out of the bus, the angle you jump out of the bus, like knowing what marker to hit. And dropping calculator can be wrong sometimes. So, but what I like to do is, right, let's say Booga's marker was this. It's the best marker. I always outdrop. It's amazing. I love it. I would mark this on my map, and I would literally just mark it as like green, and I would always know the green markers are good, the yellow markers are kind of mid, you know, and then you can kind of do like, I don't know, the red markers, the red markers you're not sure on. Like you see how like you can color code your own drop map like this. Like this is a really good marker, guaranteed to have best drop. This one is you know, mid, and this one's not so great, but you're working on that one. That pink one, you're trying to get it to be better. You're not like, you know, you'll go in Booga's replays and you'll see he hits this, and then you'll move your pink marker to here. It's like, that's how you make a drop map and on your own. It's not that hard. It really is not. And I encourage you all to make your own drop map, because one, you learn the muscle memory of jumping out of the bus. You know what, you can blindly pick out your spot. Like that's when I was talking about Bastion, is like I made that drop map for myself, and I also bought a drop map to compare them, and mine was always better because I just knew it by heart. Like I didn't have to think about it. It was, I could, like I said, blindly jump out and hit the marker, and it'd be perfect. And you also, like, you know, you learn the POI more. It's never a bad thing to play the POI. On that note, also, let's say you're landing Grand Glacier. Only land Grand Glacier. You play a ranked game, you're landing here. I don't care if your teammate says I want to land at Ruined Reels. You're landing at Grand Glacier. Like this is your spot. This is your area. You're landing here for an entire day. You're landing at this building for an entire day. You're learning this your entire goal before FNCS is to learn this entire part of the map like the back of your hand. You know how long it takes to get this chest and this chest and this one and this one, and you know that is your goal. Like that is ultimately how you guys are gonna find success in your area and like be the best at this spot. And I know that might not be for everybody. I'm sure we have people in here that like they don't really care that much to like go and do this, but if you really do, I'm giving you everything I can. So what are the main ground rules to look for when master and find a solo spot? I kind of just went over that, but it's, of course, it's kind of preference, right? Like some of you might think this is a good spot, and it could be. Like there's spots all over the map. I'm not going to be the person to go find you the most underrated spots. That's just not, yeah, you can find, there's so many people that do those type of things. We're going to rotate first, last. It's kind of going to be a feeling thing, but like I said in the, when we were VOD reviewing Onay, it's like, if there's people in front of you, like you kind of have to feel it out. Like you wait for that guy to go and then you can go, or if there's no one in front of you, then you just go first. But I would always say be prepared to go first, right? Give yourself those options. Like, let's just go back to the game here. Let's say you're boxed up here, okay? And zone's about to pull and you don't know which direction it is, but you're gonna look at, you're gonna be, you know, okay, if zone goes this way, you know, I'm gonna go through the trees here and go left, okay? If zone goes this way, you know, I'm gonna go down the hill and around to the right. And then, you know, if zone goes up this hill here, okay, we're imagining it's here, obviously. Goes up this hill here, then I'm gonna go instantly. And like you pick your ABC options, which one's the hardest? Okay, this one's the hardest. All right, this one requires me to be the fastest. You know what I'm saying? Like no one is over here, so this is my last option. I don't care if this, you know, I can go a half second late, but this one is up a hill. I have to go. So you're literally like this. 3, 2, 1, zone. Oh, pulls up the hill. I'm going. And that is the best way you can rotate, because you're the first person on the, like, you know, that is like unstoppable. No one is going to beat you. And of course you have to block your back. You have to be safe. Like, and there are scenarios where you just can't, like sometimes you just can't, but definitely you want to make those ABC choices for yourself. Would you say switching your play style, playing higher ping? I mean, yeah, you need to play more defensively for sure. And you need to be like, there's definitely, yeah, I mean, you have to, obviously you can't be like a Booga where you're just running around killing everybody. Per second moving, if zone pulls on you, it's impossible for me to answer that accurately. Like it's very dependent on, like I said, the players, the zones, the people that are, you know, where are they put on the map. Like it's very hard. It's a feel thing. It's a feel. You'll get the hang of it. I think that if I have a time to watch one of your games, a spot, or you know, you'll, as you hang out in this Discord, you'll see me watch other people's games. You'll learn, like you guys will all learn the feeling of like what it feels like to when you should go and the things to look for. Going from 70 to 90 ping to 30 ping. What parts should focus to improve? I would probably focus on your edit timing. I think that's going to be the biggest change. Should he be looking at height? Yeah. So like the way that height works in these games is like it's like a multi-part system, right? So it's like, we'll use the Onay game for example, right? He was 500 metal, and then he, like, let's say he gets a refresh where he's 555, then it's that multi-part system kicks in. Like now he layers up, now he starts to look at height, but like you have to get there first, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then eventually, you know, if you just get there by, you know, playing low ground, then that's okay. Like you don't have to be on height. Best strategy to rotate movings without no mobility. Like I just mentioned, those options like ABC. All right, ABC, the C rotate is going to be the hardest. I'm going to be ready to go, and then boom, you got to go right away. Because also be going up or over one. Also be going up or over one. The snail is only to be built like I showed. Like it's only a 2x2 and then connecting 2x2 by going backwards. So it's only, you know, it's only this. Like there's no vertical snail where you're adding a layer. Like you can do that if you really want to, but it's not like, I don't think it's a good idea. It's just a waste of mats. Like the snail is this, you know, you're going back and then, you know, you're here and you're going back again. And I promise you, once you see me build the snail a couple times, like I did it on an older video, so there's a reference there, but you're seeing me do it there. Like once you get the hang of it, it's really not that confusing. How do I know what a good layer is? It's all about congestion and like, you know, who's on your layer. If there's 10 people on your layer and there's guys right next to you, then you need to go up or down. Of course, like the lower you go on certain zones, the worse it could be. Higher is always like going to be safer in the sense that like no one's gonna be on your layer, but also, you know, you're just gonna be focused by height. The higher you go, height is gonna be more focused on you. So I think I just said that, but I kind of just repeated it, but it's fine. How can I fix my mentality and stop raging after one bad game, especially if I make, okay, this is something that I think we all experience, and especially me. And because I've played this game for so long, some things you just can't take serious. And for me, it's the solo, like victory cash ups. Like I personally could not be muted up in a call, focusing super hard. But if I really, like if it was World Cup solos, you bet I'm doing that. Like if it's a bigger event, if it's a qualifier to a big solos, you bet I'm doing that, like 100%. But it's just like, it's those things. So I kind of save my mental for those bigger events, if that makes sense. But yeah, you might be taking things too serious. Like I think there's also Like my best solo victory games have been when I'm not taking it serious and I'm kind of chatting it up with my friends and I'm listening to music and I'm kind of just keying people and I'm not really caring. Like when you care too much about something, you can get really nervous. I think that's obvious. That actually kind of shows when we're talking about like Mero and him like not really caring. I don't know if we all know that story, but he kind of just quit the game and then came back and didn't really care and then ended up kind of winning, right? Like he obviously did win, but he, you know, the mindset was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna play the game. And like when you have that mindset, it's kind of unstoppable. Like Peterbot playing the solos, like we've seen it, Cold and Poyo and Peterbot, they're dropping 40 kill games. They do not care if they die in second place. They do not care. Like they do not care. And so their confidence and their like their mental is through the roof. Yeah, I mean, it's just a game. Like it's just, who cares? Like, of course, all of us in here, we all have levels. Like some of us really want to qualify for a solo cash cup, or some of us really want to qualify for FNCS weekly finals, or really want to qualify for FNCS grand finals, or really want to win the global championship. Like I think we all have that championship mindset, right? So like some of us don't care as much about solos, and it's just take it slow. Like don't overcomplicate things. Like even I think that's true to even me in an FNCS grand finals. Like just, it's okay. Like there's more grand finals. I'm confident I can make it every time. I should also take the same approach and be like, it's just a game, you know? At the end of the day, I think Paper told me this a while ago, like just don't overcomplicate it. Just play. Like just, it's literally a video game. Like it is not a life or death situation. What if they are attacking the tops and the bottoms of the snail? I mean, that's the whole point, right? You have that, like those layers, right? We'll build the snail here. Right? You can just, you know, if they're coming from the top, you just, oh, okay, I'm in this box now. I'm holding it through layers, or like you can see how I can hold from here, right? Like we'll show this, but like you can literally sit behind two walls, okay? Or you can have the wall like this, doesn't matter. You're sitting behind two walls protected in a snail. So if he's here, you know, you're just making that space. And then of course you like, let's say he like gets these doubles, you don't have to make the snail here. Like you can just kind of chill out, and like the snail doesn't have to be a continuation. It could just be like this. You could still play off of this, and then eventually, you know, you have the snail, so you just take this back, and then, you know, you're fighting from here, and then, you know, like edit on release with 50 ping. At higher ping, it should probably have edit on release on. Edit on release is pretty useful, but it's a bad habit. So if you can get used to it not being on, then that's good. Okay. What are the ways to conserve mats while you rotate the last few zones? Use your sprint a lot, right? Like let's say we're in the final few zones right now. You know, kind of just jump like this and kind of connect and slide and do something like this, right? Instead of doing this, right? This is like not conserving your mats, right? You're kind of just full tarping. You know, just run a bit, maybe slide down. Oh, I really messed it up, but you get what I'm saying. Just run, and you can climb layers and then drop layers, and there's things like just slight tarping, right? That's how you can conserve mats. How do I improve fight IQ? How do you consistently predict your proponents? So that's literally creative. Like that is when people say you need to play box fights, you need to play zone wars, you need to play this. Like that's just play higher level players. Like fight better players because they will do better things, right? Like that is how you predict other people's movements and speed, right? So having high speed allows you to mess up a bit more and predict those movements. It is. That's a very broad question. I'm sure you know when you ask that, but like, yeah, I mean, just creative. You have to play the game to be able to predict people. Like that's why Peterbot is so good. What should his game plan for the win be at the end? Like how many mats does he need for refresh? Can he win? So he didn't need height to win there. He really needed that kill though, because like he needed some mats at the very end there. But like that game was like I mentioned earlier in that VOD, is like he was kind of in a situation where he like that from that get of the start of the game where he had a green AR and a gray pump, like he knows he probably wasn't going to play that entire game out. Like he needed that kill, he needed that guy with the 6 medkits. Like you need some luck, right? That is solos, you need a little bit of luck. So that's kind of, I mean, that's my mindset. I'm playing those. Like I'm gonna play it out. If I end up killing the guy with 6 medkits, let's go. I'm winning the game, guaranteed. Like, because again, even if let's say I play a perfect game, he played a perfect game. He had 6 med kits, didn't take any damage, didn't waste any builds, like landed on a dead body with 555, right? Like he could still go to final zone, have 6 med kits and 4 floppers and still lose. Like that is possible. I think that's a rare like scenario, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, so don't take it where you have to have a certain loadout or or thing. How many hours should I put in to make it right now? I want to play 2 battle sessions in VOD as well. And yeah, man. I mean, I think it depends on your passion. I think that passion for all of us will go it'll go a long way. I think that's a prime example of why I'm here right now and why I'm doing this and why I'm still competing and at the top. It's like I'm very passionate about gaming, competitive gaming, Fortnite. Like I love what I do, and so like if you truly love what you do, then 5 hours you'll make it happen. Like if you're in school and you know, I don't know, college, high school, middle school, I don't know how old you guys all are, but like, or even let's say you're out of college and you're just a straight normal ass dude, like, and you have 2 jobs, like you'll find a way to make something. If you're passionate about something, we all know what it feels like to be passionate about something. I don't care if it's Fortnite or if it's a sports events, like you'll find a way. Let's say you love football, you'll find a way to make time out of your day to watch that event, like the Super Bowl. You'll find a way. Like you are passionate about watching that big game, so if you're passionate about it, you'll find a way. Like if I worked 2 jobs, I will still find a way to compete, make videos, make content, right? Like that's passion. It's hard to really answer that. How do you deal with high pressure situations and do a catch in finals or needing to qualify last game? It's just experience, man. That's kind of what I was telling Onay. Like just experience. Like, you know, I'll use me as an example. Like I am less nervous or scared or frightened or in high, like it's less of a high pressure situation in, you know, a do a catch up qualifying where I need to qual last game, because I've qualled countless amount of times, and you know I've been in those you know win and in type of situations countless amount of times, and so as you get more experience, as you play more, you'll feel like I think we could probably all agree, I don't know everyone's skill level in here, but like pub games, right? If we were all to hop into solos and it was like a 5 players live with you had 5 kills, like you're not nervous that you're going to win the game. You're going to go win the game because it's easy. You get what I'm saying? Like that will slowly get better. So don't feel like you'll never get less nervous. You will get less nervous. Probably if you're asking of these 2, creative, like ranked is doo-doo. Ranked is bad. Let's see. How do you improve chemistry as a duo, staying on the same page? Yeah, I mean, it's playing a lot. Like, yeah, dude, I would say that like you have to play a lot. Like play a lot together, and then there's books out there you can read of like how you can be a better leader. There's books out there like how can you be a better friend, like there's videos you can watch. There's like, I don't know how to explain it really. Like play a lot and read your teammate. Like, is your teammate really loud? Is he get like, okay, let me put an example. Tragics, right? If you guys know my past is like my duos, Tragics, who I played with all of last year for chapter 4, basically. Like if I yelled at Tragics, you know, not saying I would be like flipping out on them, but if I was like, yo, do not do that again. That was why did you do that? Right? Like we've all had those, you know, I'm basically blaming my teammate because I'm the leader and I'm meant to call him out on his mistakes, right? That's how we're going to improve. I have to say these things, but I'd have to say them in a way that's like, not like, I'm not going to yell at Tragics. And then on top of that, if I did, because like obviously we all have those moments where we're just very competitive, we're in the heat of the moment, I would say, Tragics, that is stupid. Why would you do that? Don't ever do that again. If I was in a tournament, I could pick up on Tragics being quiet and know that's like, okay, that's my bad. And then I would bring the vibes back up. Like that's type of stuff. Like that's you need to read your teammates. Same with like, we'll go back to 2019 with me and Elevate. I'm sure you guys know the World Cup times of me and Elevate playing together. Back then I was a fragger, and Elevate, like he knew that when I was not talking, like he would be like, yo, Ceice, there's a big pot on me. If I wasn't talking, I was fighting like 100% of the time. So he knew like those things. Pick up on your teammate, like, you know, kind of study your teammate and how they respond, or straight up ask them. Like you could, it's not hard to see how they are. Like when I was playing with Day, he literally would not talk when he was fighting. Like, yo, Day, come here. Like he just would like deafen. It felt like it was a wild time, but yeah, you just have to read your teammate. Big POIs or split drops? Yeah, I do like landing big POIs just because one, you don't have to worry about it getting destroyed constantly. Like if I land here and they decide to put like, I don't know, a river here and then it just destroys your spot. Like I don't prefer split drops like that. That's just my preference. I think that up and coming players should land over here. I've done my fair share of landing at this split drop here, and not saying it's bad. You can win from this spot, right? I've done that before, but I am at the point where I'm going to contest this best, the spot that I view as reasonable for me. I don't think I'm the player to go contest snooty steps and go contest Cooper and Marrow. Like there's a level to it. Also there's just a level of skill and respect. Like I just have respect for Cooper and Marrow. I'm not going to go like, that's just stupid, but I know I can dominate classic courts, and that's my plan. Best way to help calm better and not clutter comms. I would say if you're like spamming, you're spam comm type of guy, where you're like on me, going left, going right, come here. Or you're a type of guy that doesn't comm at all, where you're just, the teammate always tells you that like you're not talking enough, then you need to play like a realistic map or like a Zone Wars creative map and just calm by yourself. Like you're playing solos, 32-man solos, and you're just being like, dead on me, okay, full boxed, I'm fighting this guy, I'm on this guy, 1 HP, like you're just by yourself, but you're practicing your comms. Like that's a great way to do it. And the clutter comms is just like be concise. Guy landing red court, one guy blue court, one guy red court. You're not like, I think he's landing the red court, but he could also be going to the left, and maybe he's on the source one and he's on the red court chest, and he's on the blue court chest now, and he might be like, no, just keep the comms clear, and that just comes by like learning the spot, right? Teammate used to be an IGL. Sometimes when I make the call out, he second guesses it, or yeah, I mean, I would say you need to tell your teammate straight up, like, hey, look, like Onay, this is something that I actually did myself when I was becoming an IGL. I literally told my teammate, like I went through the phases of like, okay, all right, look, you IGL, like, all right, we'll bounce calls off each other. Like, I'll give you, do you think we should go left or right? And then you kind of let me know, and we'll kind of, like, I've done that. I and it depends on who I play with. Like with Tradix, I would do that, but he would understand. Like he respected my final call. Like he was that playstyle where he could give that input. And I think if we all know who Tradix is and watch Tradix, he's a very talking person. He's gonna, he's gonna speak up if he thinks it's bad. But I've also been in the shoes where like I'm not confident as an IGL, and I'm not saying that you are unconfident, but like, yeah, like let's say you're unconfident or you're not sure that you're the best IGL, or you're not fit for IGLing. Go try to find a teammate and go into it and be like be straight up to his face, like, yo, I'm gonna lead you, and everything I say is gonna be like do not overcome me. Like I will make the final, and like it does not matter if you like, okay, you're saying you're confident, but like let's say for anybody in here that's like, I want to be an IGL, but I'm not sure if I can do it. Like, dude, just go find a duo and tell them like, no, like you never ever, like I will have the final call. I will like that. Put yourself in that, like, do not let him give you an opinion. Like, no, like just try it out, and I promise you, you'll learn a lot about yourself. You're as an IGL, you'll learn a lot about like decision making and being confident in your own calls. I think that's a good idea. I mean, it kind of trolls your teammate a little bit, but you could also find that you're a great IGL. We're switching your role to an IGL if you can't find it. I mean, yeah, dude, I think us all learning how to be an IGL is ultimately all of our ways to success. Like the fragger role is pretty congested. Like, I don't know if that's the right word, but like there's a lot of fraggers out there. And yeah, like you can be a better IGL, and like the role of being a fragger IGL is becoming extremely valuable. Like if let's say A-Spot is the world's best, like he's the best fighter out of all of us in this Discord. Let's just imagine, right? Okay, maybe he is. If A-Spot becomes an IGL, he just got 50 times better. Like Kanata is a great example. Kanata is crazy as a fragger. He became an IGL. Look at him, like he's insane. He's awesome. Cooper is an example of a fragger. I used to play with Cooper. Like I played with him for a while, and he was my fragger, and he wanted to learn how to be an IGL. And of course, I think that situation is a little different with Marrow, because the Marrow is also kind of an IGL. But like, I think Cooper still made the final calls, but still, right? Cooper learned to be comfortable making those final calls, and it turned out to be very good for him. He got a great teammate like Marrow. So, and for those of you guys that are in here that are just IGLs, or you don't want to be a fragger, like get your mechanics up, because you need to be that mixture. But if you can make good calls but can't fight Yeah, that's what I just said. Like, you need to be a better fighter. Like, that's me. I have a very I mean, maybe I'm fucking gassing myself up here, but I credit myself to be very smart, confident. I'm a great leader, and I think that my biggest fault is my fighting is not to the level of Peterbot, and I need to be Peterbot. That's quite literally it. I need to have Peterbot mechanics. But yeah, this is all the questions. I'm gonna show the chapter 4 Discord, so they know that was that's something we wanted to go over, and you guys can kind of ask questions about it. But I did mention this in the last video, but like the one that's on my channel right now, because I basically did this Q&A on my channel. But to go over the Discord here, right? We've got a bunch of notes here. They're all organized by season. Chapter 4, season 4. Chapter 4, season 3. Chapter 4, season 2. Season 1. You're seeing all of this, right? All these channels that we created. And then chapter 3, this is obviously, I didn't have this one, I think this is an old, yeah, this is like chapter, this is like Coral. Like, this is, or no, this is, I don't even know what chapter this is. Chapter 3? I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Like, I've got a bunch of servers. I'd recommend doing the same thing. And so I don't know what you need to see in here, but like, you can kind of see the channels I have. I've got General, Ceice, got notes for myself, right? Like, this is me learning like myself. I got notes for Tragics, and he was ideally supposed to write his own notes in here, but I had to do it for him, which is fine. Duo notes, right? He would put some duo notes in here, just going through this to-do list, right? Like, what are we gonna do? Joko said, you know, find the new timings for everything. Center map just changed, right? Because everything changed this season. Brutal information. As soon as like a new thing came out of my spot, like let's say, yeah, a new vault gets added to your spot, you need to learn every single thing about it. That's why, again, this came out. This is 11 a.m. This is like right when the new season dropped. Vault info. I had all of this on like the day 1, or like, yeah, the day 1. I had the spawn rates before, like, you know, Loot Lake adds spawn rates, right? They add like where the AI spawns most commonly. Like, they used to have that, or like the forecast. Like, we can see this now. Vaults. All right, whatever. We'll add the vaults. Like, you can go on your map and get all these vaults pinged yourself, right? So I would do this for the AI spawns. I knew this before anyone else. And these are the upper hands that you can get. This is how you get the advantages against people, random people, like Reboots, Island. Here's another example. Like, this is me like talking about where the island, like I could spawn outside of zone. Like, I'm theorizing and strategizing all this. This is like an old map, but you can see like I was making markers on my own map by myself of where the island spawned. And eventually they added it, and look, it's like the exact, like, obviously it's different map, but you can see it's like they're there. And then I marked the ones close to us, so I had automatically, you could go in this channel and be like, boom, here it is. Augments, VOD review notes, like this is just us kind of going over the VODs. Bash and AI spawns, series points, right? This is good for you guys to have during FNCS. You could just go in here, you're not pulling up Fortnite.com and looking at the competitive thing and going through a loop. It's in your Discord. Boom, check it. And I'll probably have all this information in this Discord too, so you can just come to this Discord, or right, so it's easier for everybody in one spot. Drop map. This is obviously an old Bastion drop map. That's kind of what it looked like. Remember when I was talking about the points? Like, this yellow point is really, really good. This green point is not so good. Like, this is what my drop maps look like. Yellow is really good. Like, yellow's really good. Yeah. Flag radius, another thing that was really important. Like, this is something that I had really early on that I was taking advantage of for a long time. Like, no one knew the flag radius because this is something you couldn't really see because it was so quick, right? It would like, this little zone would expand really quick. So I had this, and I knew that if I was outside of this radius, I would never get scanned by the flag. And so I could literally just sit right here, let it scan, and then push in the POI and catch this guy off guard every time. So we can go over a lot of seasons, but I'm not gonna do that. That's a lot. I'm taking notes about my own gameplay for a month now. Whenever I'm scrimming in tournaments, I forget everything. I would say sticky notes below your monitor. That's what I would do during solo, like FNCSs back in the day. Is I would have sticky notes like breathe, you know, full, like I don't know what my old notes were. I know that one was breathe, one was like slow down, relax, reset. Like, I don't know. It's just like words, or like you could be quick little, you know, make sure you rotate first. Like, that's a sticky note. Stick it to the bottom of your monitor. It's literally right there in your face. You're never gonna not. And then also just right before you go into a tournament, same thing with that I do for FNCSs, is I'll go in and I'll read through the notes. I'll be like, you know, let's go back to the server here. Like, I'll go into the notes here. Okay. Let's go into duo notes, and I'll read. All right, Tradix, right side when we land, don't, you know, settle, don't look for anything, be more vocal, cones and boxes, communicate where you are mid, you know, boom. I would read that strategy right before we drop into the tournament, like right before. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna leave the conversation for this video. I might record it on another like recording, but I'm gonna leave this to be kind of private for this Discord. So I want you guys to hop in this Discord so we can do these things. We can watch your guys' gameplay, and we can go over this together, and then you guys can be a part of this conversation after, because we're gonna debate, we're gonna talk, we're gonna work through these guys' issues and problems, and make everyone better. Right now, we're ending with 31 people watching the screen share. We just helped 31 people in the Ceice Discord, and like I said, way more to come. Gonna have a schedule for you guys. You're gonna be able to watch these and be a part of these every single day or multiple times a week. We're gonna get this bumping. So thank you guys again for all the love and support recently. I'm so happy and blessed to be making these type of videos. I love you guys so much. This is awesome. So I'll see you guys later.